Greetings and welcome to another Unreal Engine 4 tutorial. So I got a question from Mark the Gamer a few days ago, and he asks, do you know if you can create cutscenes with Unreal Engine? And yes, you can. Now it's been a while since I've done it, but I'm gonna try to just run through it and see if I don't fuck anything. So here I have the third person templates. I've modified it a little bit to make it suitable for what I want to do with it. So I just created a little corridor like this in an L shape. So what we will do is create a cutscene where we have a camera on this side filming like this, stopping here, and then another camera will take over and film here and then stop watching the player, and then the player will continue. And here we will have some enemies or something that will be animated and walking toward the player. Yeah, so we will see how this works. First of all, because I always like to have a folder with all the things I'm doing in a certain specific project, so I'm gonna select the content folder and right click and take new folder, and I'm gonna call it cutscene stuff. We're not gonna use it just yet, but we might need it later on. Okay, so the first thing we will do is create a camera. So we right click and then place actor and choose the camera actor. So we want it to start pretty much here and then move toward the edge. Now go up to matinee and add matinee. And I'm used to working in two screens, so it's always fun to do it on one screen. Okay, so select the camera, and inside the matinee you're gonna right click and take add new camera group, and I'm gonna call it cam 1. Now if you scroll, you see the timeline gets bigger and smaller, and you can move it by just right clicking and moving the mouse. And we will, for the first camera, we will use 4 seconds perhaps. So we're gonna just limit it to 4 seconds for now. And up here you see the keyframe, so we can click that. That's the first created keyframe, and it's created automatically when you create the group. And that's good, you know, it's okay that the camera starts right there. So just be sure you can click enter once. That's how you create a keyframe, or you can create a keyframe up here where it says add key. Now I'm gonna move the timeline, whatever it is, up to 2 seconds, and then move the camera about here. Let's see. A little bit further, and then I'm gonna rotate it a little bit like that, and then I'm gonna press enter to set a key. Oh, no track selected. Well, then go up here and then choose movement. Now enter like that. So now if you drag the timeline bar, you will see what you have, and you can see the preview in the camera window. So that's good. Now we're gonna drag this all the way to 4 seconds and then move the camera accordingly. Not easy to talk today. Perhaps like this, and then rotate it like that. Maybe a little bit up and then a little bit down, and then enter like this. So let's see if this is okay. Yes, it is. So now, just to make sure this works, I'm gonna close the matinee actor, and we will create a trigger box that will trigger this animation. So just search for a trigger, box trigger, drag this down here, and we will make it a little bit bigger to make sure the player cannot avoid touching it. That's probably good. Now go into the level blueprints, open level blueprint, and with the box trigger selected, right click and take add event for trigger box, collision, add on actor begin overlap. Now select the matinee actor, which is this little thing. If you can't see it, then surely you can search for it up in the world outliner and just search matinee and it will show up. And drag this into the level blueprint. Now drag a node out from the actor and search for play, enter, and connect the trigger box to that and compile. Now, nothing will happen if we touch it now because, well, it will play, but we can't see anything. So what we need to do is create a director. I think it's director anyway. So just open the matinee actor again, and then under this, right click and take add new director group. Director group, that's what it was. So now let's make this a little bit bigger. Scroll a little bit, and then when this is selected, I guess this is selected, then add a key. And here you will choose what camera you want to put onto the director group. So just choose cam 1, and here you have it. Now we can close it and try. Boom. And here we can see it. So, and then you will be able to continue. But what we want to do now is do all of this one more time. So we're going to create another camera, place it here. So right click, place camera, place actor, camera actor, set it up the way you want it. So this camera will kind of show the enemies or whatever it is we're gonna have from the back. Here we can begin, and then I'm gonna add this to the same matinee actor. But in its own group. So with that camera selected, right click here, and then add new camera group. And it's gonna be called Cam 2. And as we see, it already has a keyframe. But anyway, I'm gonna press enter just because I'm neurotic like that. So I want to be really certain it's right. And then I'm gonna move this camera to... No, you know what? This isn't completely right. Now we need to make sure this camera starts when the other camera is done. Unless they will overlap if we don't do it. And we don't want them to overlap because then we can't see them. So we're gonna take this to 9 seconds, 8 seconds, yeah, whatever. 9 seconds. I'm gonna expand this area. I'm gonna move the first keyframe on the second camera. So just hold in control and click the keyframe and move it. Move it. As you can see, I created double up. So that's what you get for being neurotic. So just delete the first one. Okay. And as you can see now, we can't see what's actually happening in the scene because all we see is the director group. So we need to turn off the director view. So you see this little camera symbol, just click that and we are out of the director view. Okay, so halfway to the 9-second mark or somewhere in between. Let's take, yeah, 6.5 seconds approximately. Then move the camera here, about there, and enter. No, select track, movement, now enter. So here we can see it's working. And then I'm gonna move it a little bit further, 7 and something seconds. And I'm gonna drag the camera so we can see past the corner, and I'm gonna rotate it like this, and then another keyframe. Check it. Zzz. Zzz. Yes. And then I'm gonna drag the timeline bar to the end, and we will try to get a look at the player, perhaps here. I'm gonna take it a little bit down and look a little bit up. No, not that much, like this perhaps. And then enter again. That's a long way. And of course you could animate this a lot better. So this is just to show you, you know. But I wanted to stay at the last position for like half a second, so I'm gonna expand this a little bit. I'm gonna drag this bar to the end and click enter one more time, like that. So, okay. Now we can just activate the director group again. And we can, let's see, because we don't want, there it comes. So what we do now is at the point where the cameras will switch, that's the point where you wanna add a new key to the director group, and then you can choose cam 2. Okay, so now it will switch. Let's look at all of it. Reverse. I'm gonna minimize this a little bit and then play. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna close this and save. and check it. So here you are, playing a game, and then you're coming here, boop. The cutscene is playing, camera changes, and it stops there, and then you can continue playing. So this is how you create a cutscene, but I'm gonna take it one little step further. I'm gonna add some anime looking things and animate them so they are walking toward the player while the cameras are filming them. And as usual, I'm gonna use my notorious killer drone, which you can find on unrealtutorials.com, downloadable content, skeletal mesh, and just download. Yes. So now I will need the cutscene stuff folder. So I'm locating my mesh, let's see. And I'm just dragging in the FBX file. Is it slow? No. Import a skeletal. Well, I'm not really gonna use it, but you can do it if you wanna use it later as an enemy, an actual enemy, because you could animate it in the cutscene and then activate it so it, you know, follows the player and kills the player afterwards. I got another tutorial for that, as you might know. So here we have it. I'm gonna just drag it in here, and it's really tiny as usual. So I'm gonna scale it up to, I don't know, 50 by 50 by 50 perhaps. Turn it like this. And then another one. Control C, Control V. Like this, and then turn that a little bit. Like this, and then save again. Gonna place them a little bit further behind. Now, we're gonna animate these. So we're gonna create a new matinee. Right click and then, well, first perhaps select the first one, right click and then new empty group. I'm gonna call it enemy 1. And just make sure it's selected, then right click in the enemy 1 group and then actors, add selected actors, and then right click again and take add new movement track. And I'm gonna let the enemy move as long as the entire length of both of the cameras animation. So let's say 8 seconds. So I'm just gonna create a keyframe and then move the bar to the end, and it will be moved to here, I guess, and then another keyframe. Now it will move slowly, but it doesn't matter because I'm just illustrating how this is done. And then for the next one, click it, right click in here and create a new group, call it enemy 2, and then right click, actors, add selected actors, and then right click again, add new movement track, create a keyframe, drag the bar to the end, and then take the second one and drag him here. And I'm gonna turn him a little bit like this and then enter. Now you can see I've created it so they cross each other and they are merging, so we gotta fix the animation a little bit. The last one needs to go a little bit slower than the first one, so I'm gonna stop it here and then move it a little bit behind like that, and then set a new keyframe. Now let's see. That's better. Yeah, that's good, you know. So now we're gonna make sure that their animation starts at the same time as the camera animation. So open the level blueprint. No, first locate the new matinee actor, their matinee actor, and then in the level blueprint, right click, create reference to matinee actor 3, which mine is called, and just simply connect it to the same plate. Then compile and save. Now, let's see. Here you are, living your life, having fun, and boom. There they come. Oh my god, here they're coming. What will you do? Well, probably you will just go and face them. What's up? What's up? Okay, so, you know, here you could create a new trigger box, which then sets these enemies to follow the player. And then they will stop being just puppets being animated and actually follow the player. So, yeah. So, you know, a cutscene with some animated objects. Hopefully you've learned something funny and, you know, yeah. Have a good day.